Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another TGH. Hopefully, you guys are having yourself a good day. Today is Tuesday, June 6th, 2017, and we have ourselves a guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself one time for the culture.
Hello, my name is Brandon. I'm here to spit some baseball knowledge.
Some baseball knowledge. Now, where are you from, Brandon?
Born and raised in New York.
Born and raised in New York, so I'm sure that you are probably a fan of one of two New York teams. Would I be correct in assuming that?
True.
All right, which team are you a fan of?
Born and raised New York Yankee fan.
Of course. I feel sorry for. I'm sorry to hear that. So born and raised a Yankee fan. When did you start getting into baseball?
When I was about 4. So about right when we started the run in 1996.
Okay, and who is your favorite Yankee of all time?
Well, I gotta go. Probably Jeter or probably any one of the core 4.
Okay, and for those who have no idea who that is, let them know who that is.
You got Derek Jeter, Andy Pettitte, Jorge Posada, and Mariano Rivera.
Okay, and this year, what are you thinking of your Yankees?
I'm really liking it. We're surprising much to the league with the power, the consistency on offense. One thing I am a little bit worried about is towards the front end with Masahiro Tanaka. He has an issue. He's not consistent anymore. He's leaving a bunch of his breaking pitches over the middle of the plate. I know he's been working probably all day with Rothschild, but still, it's just what he was before he hurt his elbow is just not there anymore.
Okay, you do know that I am a Mets fan, so we're meant to not like each other.
Yes.
Okay, so the rotation you're talking of, I think you guys got yourself a very good rotation. I think Severino is a monster.
He is.
I think last year putting him in a bullpen helped him a lot with his consistency. He has been absolutely dominating this year. The bullpen might have, one of the best bullpens in the major leagues. Of course, Chapman went ahead and got hurt, but still, you got Bautista, who's able to slide right in that role and do absolutely fantastic. So, who do you think is the best player in baseball?
Well, you can never go wrong with saying Mike Trout.
Of course, that's everybody's go-to. That's everybody's go-to. Everybody's gonna say Trout.
He's the all-around player, but if I had to go not picking Trout,
I mean, you can't go not picking. I mean, if you think it's Trout, it's Trout. Go ahead and say Trout.
I would have to say it would have to be Trout just because just 5-tool player.
It's tough because Trout is up there. He is. I mean, he's in. If you don't, for whatever reason, have him number 1, he's got to be number 2. But I personally think Kershaw is the best player in the league. What do you think about that?
I would have to agree with you there. Is probably the best pitcher that.
Probably.
Nah,
Did you say probably? As in there's somebody better? Who do you think is better? Bumgarner? Don't you dare say Bumgarner.
No.
Chris Sale? Who do you think is better?
Oh, hell no. He's a Red Sox.
I mean, he is.
It's Kershaw. It's just every day he's going out. He's going to give you a good 6 innings, 6-7 innings with
minimum.
Curve,
Minimum.
Minimum.
I think he's
but also,
absolutely
don't
fantastic.
Respect his batting, his offense enough. He's gone out there. I remember he's hit a couple homers.
This year, with Trout obviously being injured, probably going to take away from his case to win the AL MVP, right? And he was looking like it was in the bag, right? He's putting up an amazing start, like a career fast pace of home run, everything. He's out the picture. Who do you have for AL MVP?
Well, this might be biased, but with the way he's
yeah, don't you dare say Judge. Don't you dare say who are you gonna say?
Well, I got 2 options. Here's the thing, with Trout being out for a while, his stats before he got hurt, he was batting .337, 16 home runs. That's a pace you have for an MVP. But with the way like with Machado, I don't like, he's struggling
badly.
But I gotta say my man Judge.
That's bias. That's because you're a Yankee fan,
behind it.
and a smelly Yankee fan at that. You're not like just ashamed that you guys just go out and year after year, and we all know how George Steinbrenner went down. George Steinbrenner will buy any and everybody.
Yeah,
it did not matter.
Yeah, but let me see. Let me look.
There's not that much homegrown talent over there in the Yankee side.
True.
You guys got Jeter. That's the one guy you go on ahead and name. But, I mean, for the most part, you guys are able to assemble a team through accusation. By getting players, damn it. Can't say the damn word. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Acquisitions.
But actually, rechanging my thing, you can never go wrong with the way he, year in, year out, Jose Altuve.
Monster.
That, right now, not being biased, he would be my front runner for MVP. With Trout getting hurt.
What that got to do with you guys being bums and buying all your players and winning that way?
Yeah, that is true. I still, back to with the buying players, with A-Rod, it's still like, as a Yankee fan, I'm torn between two things with him. He was a great player, but you don't know of how much
he was eating steroid gummies, man.
Yeah. He
would put gummies underneath the tongue, and by the 8th inning, he weighed 2 pounds more than before the game started.
Yeah. You never know. Before he stepped in that box, he could have been, when he grabbed some of the dirt and put it on his bat, you never know. He could have had something. Never know. But the thing that back talking a little bit more about A-Rod, everyone can't doubt he was a great defender before he started taking steroids. But yeah, I'm just like, as a Yankee fan, people come to love A-Rod sometimes. But for me, just him going out and, first of all, denying it when it was quite obvious, that kind of rubbed me off the wrong way.
Random question. Top 5 pitchers in the NL. Who you got?
Top 5 pitchers in the NL? Kershaw, of course. Always liked Bumgarner. You got Max Scherzer. Steven Strasburg. I like the Nationals pitchers. Does it actually still... Yeah, it has to be active, I'm guessing, right?
Yes.
So there goes the other one. I had one last year that, sadly, is not with us. The 5th one's always a little tough. Let me...
Don't you be Googling.
I'm not.
You Googling over there.
No,
if you don't mention this man's name, we have some problems.
I was gonna say something that would make you feel good. I was gonna say Cologne, but no.
Bartolo Colon?
Yeah, I don't like him.
But top 5? Bartolo Colon has never been a top 5 pitcher in anything in his life.
No, I was made a joke. I really like Zach Greinke.
Yeah, you're Googling.
I'm not.
You telling me that you put now? Where's Syndergaard in this discussion?
I just
You don't disrespect him by putting Greinke ahead of him.
He's not up there for me.
How?
Well, here's the thing that kind of. Well, don't get me wrong. He's a great pitcher, but there are just some things that don't go right for him.
Don't go right. Almost 14 wins with the ERA of almost 2.5 last year.
But still, there's one thing that might go wrong for him in the future. It's the velocity on a slider. And here's what might go wrong. I'm a pitcher in real life as well. And I've hurt my elbow before. Constantly throwing a slider at that high velocity puts a lot of pressure on his elbow. And I think sometimes if hitters start to see that spin and the velocity, they'll
I don't know. Pedro Martinez might disagree. That man was throwing 98 for 12, 15 years.
Yeah, but the Yankees crushed him.
What they got to do with anything? Don't make me bring up the series where they came back and beat you guys. What were they down? You know what they were down.
Yeah, don't remind me of that.
Pedro was throwing 95-mile-an-hour sliders for 15 years.
That is true. But it's just, I'm talking this year, when Syndergaard got hurt. Like, it could have changed if he didn't get hurt. But I want to ask you a question. What do you think about him not wanting to get the MRI?
I mean, it's when you're in a situation like that, man, you're trying to make your money, man. You don't want to reveal something that the team might be worried about. You know, we have terrible health in our pitching. Terrible. Thank God. Thank the Lord that why am I drawing a blank with DeGrom? I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. His velocity can't, because last year's velocity dipped like 3 miles an hour. It was scary. I was nervous. Came back this year. He's back to throwing 95, 96, popping that mid. But it's like, you don't want to reveal something that's, that could be a little, the same reason why players in the NFL will play through concussions. You're not trying to mess up your payday. The man trying to get paid. You don't want to revealing nothing. He may have a cancerous elbow in the forelateral in the forearm or something.
Yeah.
Trying to hide all that stuff, man. Question: do you think if you were caught using steroids or enhancing yourself with these products, do you think any of those guys who were found guilty, do you think they should make the Hall of Fame? We got Sosa, we got Bonds,
Yeah.
Palmeiro.
One thing that I always say is, steroids, yes, they make you stronger, but still, you gotta know how to hit a baseball. You gotta know how to hit a baseball. But it's just with the fact that Barry Bonds just kept denying it. I don't know if you ever saw that funny skit when it was a press conference and he's like, one reporter asked, "You take any steroids?" He's like, "No," and then someone calls him up and says, "Hey, your truckload of steroids is here." I always thought it was funny, but that's the thing. I don't think he should be in the Hall of Fame. Just because back then, like Hank Aaron, Babe Ruth, steroids weren't around then.
But you also know what wasn't around then?
What?
African Americans. How good can you say Babe Ruth is? I mean, that's the big guy. You said they have unfair advantage. Babe Ruth, what about all these stats he was able to get before black players could join the league? How unfair is that? He wasn't facing Dominicans, throwing sliders and curveballs and sinkers. You don't think that's unfair back in '64? He wasn't facing no Satchel Paige, man. Satchel would have struck his ass out.
Can't deny that.
That's the truth, man. That was back in '54, Mickey Mantle and all these guys and all. Yeah, they wasn't facing. They were playing before all the real good players got to join.
Yeah. Well, also the thing with Bonds is, if you've seen the comparison pictures, it's pretty obvious that he was doping.
Yeah, you can't be 57 years old still at that weight mass and all. Yeah. I mean, come on.
Does not grow that much.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
So you're saying none of them, A-Rod, none of them should be allowed?
I would have to say yeah, just because they obviously cheated, and the fact that also they denied it.
So you think if they just come out and just admit it, that would make things easier? It's okay?
In my opinion, yeah,
because although, like you say, you still have to hit a baseball. You have to understand that baseball is by far the most not physically stressful like the NFL, but it's very just strenuous on the body. They're playing 5 games a week minimum, sometimes 6. Sometimes they'll go 2 weeks straight. They're playing 24, 25 games a month on top of all this flying and road trips and all that stuff. And you got somebody like A-Rod who's able to eat a Haribo. Haribo? How you say that damn gummy? You know what I'm talking about. You eat a little Haribo gummy underneath, and he's able to just stay at normal, able to stay on normal, just feel normal. like not feel tired when all these players are playing each and every single day again and again and again. So I mean, that's even though you have to hit a base, but that's an unfair advantage.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I don't nowadays. You don't see a real player play as much. Like, when was the last time someone played 162 games?
I'm sure there's some people there, but what Cal Ripken did will never be done again.
No,
ever.
I have to agree. Never.
You know, every once in a while you'll see they'll get benched a game or two here and there, but yeah, for the most part, people are getting days off, and that is, you know, the big advantage where A-Rod wasn't obviously as big as Bonds. You know, he wasn't really using, you know, enhancements to bulk up, but you know, as he said, he was using them to, and him and you know, Clemens and all those guys just to help repair, you know, their muscles, just make them feel, you know, normal basically, instead of just feeling, you know, tired after playing, you know, 17 days in a row.
Yeah. Well, actually, I just looked something up, and Manny Machado did it 2 years ago.
So you are Googling. Why are you Googling?
I'm looking up the last time someone went played 162 games.
You're not supposed to be Googling, man. This is a Google-free zone.
All right, I'm off Baseball Reference.
So what do you think of Pete Rose? Should he get in?
I think he should.
I do too. It's disgusting how the man is not in. Disgusting.
Like, it's not like he cheated to enhance his performance.
And it's not like he was throwing games to win bets.
No. And one thing I always liked about Pete Rose is just the way he played. He was not afraid to run into the catcher.
He gave it his all, even in the All-Star game. One of the most historic clips of all time. He's you know, somebody who, you know, bet on the game. Like I said, it helped him perform better because, you know, he's going to bet on himself. He's going to go on ahead and try his best to win, obviously, because, you know, he has money on the line. Yeah. I agree with you. Definitely think he should get in. What is your knowledge about basketball? What do you think is going on with these Cavs?
I'm not too knowledgeable about basketball, but I don't know what's going on. Like, don't get me wrong, Golden State's good, but before the series started, I had the Cavs winning it, but it looks like they're a totally different team.
It's not looking good for them.
Yeah, it's not.
Every time LeBron hits the bench, it goes downhill.
Yeah.
That man has not been able to take a rest. He keeps them in the games by putting up godlike numbers. He takes a rest, and he's able to go on ahead and just destroy. Now, you know how Kevin Durant joined the team, so there's a lot of hatred going his way for joining a quote-unquote, for making a quote-unquote super team. What do you think about that? What if that happened in baseball? What do you think? I mean, there's been plenty of, like, really good teams and stuff like that, but never something to that magnitude where if Bryce Harper, Goldschmidt, and Altuve wanted to join, and there's no salary cap in baseball.
Yeah.
So if somebody could afford all these players, they can make it happen.
Yeah.
Would you be okay with seeing something like that?
To be honest, I don't want to see like a massive team that you create in MLB The Show, because one thing I love about baseball is that in clutch situations, sometimes it's the guy that you never heard of the whole year. It's maybe like
Aaron Boone off of Wakefield,
a platoon player. That's what baseball's about. But the thing I don't like is about for Durant just to leave just to make a superstar team. It's just a kick in the ass.
Most people will say, well, you can't hate him. He's just trying to win. But his team was up 3-1. They were 1 win away from moving on to the finals again. And they obviously had something. You have a top 5 player in the NBA on your team in Durant. I mean, in Westbrook. You leave the team to go to, statistically, it's the greatest team ever assembled in NBA history. 7-3-9, the greatest, team ever, statistically. And he goes on ahead and joins them.
Yeah, it's just something that, it could have been different with the way Westbrook played this year. You never know. What if Durant stayed on that team?
Well, if Durant's there, those numbers are not that. They just don't have that magnitude of what he did. It's just not there. That's not going to happen. He's not going to get those many rebounds. He's going to get less shots. He's going to have the ball less. He's going to just not be the major focal point of the offense when you have somebody taking the ball away from you.
Yeah.
So
I've wanted to ask you this, back to baseball. Not a Mets player, who is your favorite player this year? My
favorite player this year. There's a lot of good players. I would have to say it might surprise a lot of people. But I would say Billy Hamilton.
Yeah.
I love watching Billy Hamilton. There is nobody in the league that I would rather watch more than Billy Hamilton. That's including Trout, including Kershaw, and I love watching Kershaw. I love watching that man. When he pitches, it is a work of art. It is like Bob Ross painting before your eyes. It is beautiful. But just the excitement that he brings, I truly enjoy. He is game changing. Do you understand if that man could bat 300? I think he would be the best player in the MLB.
Yeah, that's the thing. One thing I like about him is when he gets on first, there's no question about it. You know that man's gonna take second,
and there's nothing you can do about it.
No, but I was surprised. I think yesterday he got thrown out.
Yeah, which is only like the third time which has happened all year.
It was Yadier Molina, so it's not.
That was actually the first person he's ever gotten a steal off of in his debut. His MLB debut came in, and I don't know if it was extra innings. It might have been 9. I think it was extra, but his very first steal came off of Yadier. But yeah, there's nobody that I enjoy watching more than him, and there's so many great players. But that boy Billy, like they say, you can't steal first base, which is the only issue he has. He cannot get on first base consistently.
One of my favorite memories of Bill Hamilton is when he scored from second on a sacrifice fly.
He has also scored from second against Lackey on a pass ball, which doesn't happen often. He is, man. That is there's a lot of great talents in the league, and obviously, like as a baseball fan, you would love to have like all of them. But like I see him, and I was like, my God, man, I would love to have him on a team.
And also for his size, he also is, especially with that speed in the outfield, but he also has a good arm. Like out of everyone, I take him in center over a lot of people.
He covers so much ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, on top of the good arm, but he covers a ton of ground, and that is something that goes unnoticed because he has the speed to fill the gaps very quickly, and he can stop a double from happening a lot because he's so fast.
Yeah, and so another question: what do you think about recently what Jose Bautista did?
Jose Bautista is 57 years old. Jose Bautista is, man, listen, and he's Latino. He's Latino, man. Oh my God, that man, Jose. Oh my God, and you want to talk about struggling too? He's picking it up, but beginning on in the year, he was doing freaking terrible.
Yeah, well. The thing that I didn't like is that the Blue Jays, they had a chance. They had him or Encarnacion. For me, I take Encarnacion.
Both of them are old.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know. They both give you similar production. I mean, it's not like one is overwhelmingly more, producive than the other, so it's like it's a no-brainer. Both of them did really good, do good at some points. But I don't know. They got Smoke though, and Smoke is doing really well.
He hit that home run a couple days ago on 70.
if you keep Encarnacion, I mean that gives, I mean, you get rid of him, that gives an opportunity to let Smoke come in and do an everyday job, and he's been doing really well this year.
And that's the thing that I love about baseball. The next, like, you can get rid of a really good player, but then you don't know, that person behind him could step up and produce. Look, what does Smoke have, like 14, 15 home runs this year?
Oh, he's killing it. He's killing it.
Yeah. But also I wanted to talk about what I've been like is recently, over the coming years, production of, like, the amount of innings pitchers are going per start is going down.
It's disgusting. Back in the old days, man, back in the Negro leagues, pitchers will pitch both games of a doubleheader.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think that, like, once you get around the 90 pitch mark, you're kind of like, all right, people are already warming up in the bullpen, and they're being dominant. I can't think of his name. Well, I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago. There was a pitcher who I believe it was Don Madden, right? Who took him out while he was on a no hitter.
No, it was Dave Roberts. I mean, he took out Stripling.
Wasn't it Mattingly? Am I right? Oh, yeah, took him out.
And then the next hitter that the bullpen faces blows up his no hitter.
While he was on a no hitter, and they're saying he's young and you gotta shape his, like, you don't want to risk the arm, and you had to. That's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah.
If I am him when he comes out of the, I'm walking to outfield with the ball. You are not getting this ball from me. You are not. Listen, I don't care whatever you may feel about the arm issues or whatever. Like, this is history where not too many people have been able to do. Like,
especially a rookie.
Oh my God! And they took him out because of the pitches, because the pitch count, and because he's young, and it's. And that's why I like pitchers that, like, you see Kershaw 120 deep, you see Cueto 115, you see Sale, you see there's not too many of them.
I saw Severino a couple days ago throwing 114.
Yeah, and it's still throwing 98.
Yeah.
If it's not messing up with their velocity, if they're still concentrated, if they're still able to pitch well with the accuracy and not have any troubles, I don't understand, because you have to, and it's not like that's all they throw, right? The entire day they're throwing. Yeah. They're still throwing. They're still warming up before every inning. They're still throwing pitches, but they just. I don't. One thing I do love this year though that they implemented though was the no pitch 4 walk rule.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't happen too often where pitch, but at least that helps.
Still, I was at the Yankee game last year, and this is what I miss about intentional walk. Gary Sanchez almost hit one out on that intentional walk. And, like, yes, but still, it was always funny to watch. Someone's trying to intentional walk, they'll just throw it behind the catcher. That is sometimes funny to see. But it is getting the pitch count down, but still, they're not even letting pitchers go past 7 innings.
Because so many teams invest heavily in, there's so many situational guys now. You have 12 guys in your bullpen. You have your setup guy. You have your long reliever. You have your situational lefty. You have all these guys where it's like that's usually, I'm sure in a manager's perfect game, your starter will give you 7 quality innings. You'll come into your setup man, and then you bring in your closer.
Yeah.
There's just not too many people that will go on ahead and, yeah, like I said, continue to pitch deep in the games and continue to do well. And it's, I see it. It's frustrating, man, especially as, like, when your team is really relying on pitching, like, we are. We've blown so many bullpen games, and it's just like, our pitcher was doing great. Our pitcher was doing well. But you're going to go on ahead and remove him because of the pitch count, and it's. I mean, I guess you got to look in the interest of the player, and you don't want to, do things like that. But there's not too, like, 200 innings is like a big thing for pitchers, right? You pass the 200 innings mark, then you feel like that's somebody who is having a quality year because he's out there for majority of the time, but. Pitchers could be pitching 250.
Yeah. And, like, as long as you said before, if their pitch count's getting up, as long as you don't see a big drop in velocity, yeah, let's say maybe their velocity's dropping like a mile or two. But still, if they can go out there and get batters out, like, don't be out there looking to strike the guy out, just pitch to contact. And I remember, I don't know if it was a couple years ago, I think it was Edwin Jackson, did like a 150 pitch no-hitter. He had 8 walks, but you just don't see that anymore. Like, not a lot of people can pitch a no-hitter. You'll get up, you're going to be up there with names such as Nolan Ryan, all those other people. And that's what also really pissed me off with the Dodgers manager. That kid had a chance to do something that I don't think a rookie has done. And you took him out.
Does it ever burn you inside knowing that the Yankees could have had Mike Trout?
Yes, it does. It does hurt a little, or a decent amount.
A little?
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts.
For those of you who don't know, okay, so there's a rule in baseball, right, where they have classifications for players, right, where if they trade for somebody who is, I don't know the correct term, but let's just say we'll go grades. If a player is like an A+, and you trade that player, then you got to give a first-round draft pick. It just is what it is.
Yeah,
so the Yankees traded for Mark Teixeira, who at the time he's the A+ guy, right? He's and I love Mark. I seen him go to Atlanta, and I was hoping he stayed there, but he ended up being moved. But the Yankees traded for Teixeira, and the Angels get their draft pick, and lo and behold, who do they take with the Yankees pick? They take a young man named Michael Trout. Yeah. Never comes back. It's just like we've done some boneheaded things. I'll never forget. We traded a young Scott Kazmir in his, I can't even say prime because he was still in the minors. A young Scott Kazmir for Victor Zambrano. That was one of the most now, thankfully, Scott Kazmir hasn't turned out to be anything special. He's been okay. He's had some good years, but nothing like what we thought he was going to be. Right? There's a lot of players that had so much hype in the minors. Like, Matt Wieters was supposed to be like the godlike catcher. I remember Kobe Rasmus was like supposed to be a monster. Like this man had so much hype around him. This was our guy. All I kept hearing for years is this man, Scott Kazmir, is going to shake up the rotation. He is an absolute monster. And we trade him away for Victor Zambrano.
Every time you say Zambrano, I can only think of Carlos Martin. Not Carlos Zambrano going crazy on
the water jug?
The water jug. It's all I remember.
It's mind-baffling sometimes when you see some players like Daniel Murphy letting him go.
Yeah,
that came out of nowhere, though.
Yeah.
He wasn't batting 347 with us.
No, that did come out of nowhere.
He had one of the greatest postseason runs. Like he hit I don't know what it was. It was ridiculous. Something like 5 games in a row with a homer. I don't know what the hell it was.
Yeah, I think it was 5 games with a homer.
Something ridiculous. It came out of nowhere, and it was really between him or Cespedes. Obviously, would have liked to have had both, but it's kind of like kind of like an either or kind of thing. And Cespedes, was a little bit more proven, even though we knew Daniel Murphy was going to get paid off of the postseason he had.
Yeah.
But out of nowhere, this man comes batting 400.
That is great. Out of nowhere, comes to the Nationals and starts being one of their best hitters, especially with the down year that Bryce Harper had last year.
And then in the division as well. In the division.
His old team.
He goes on ahead and oh my God, you gotta love what they're doing out there in Washington.
Yeah, but still, all the rumors saying around about they're saying, oh, Bryce Harper's going to go to the Yankees. There's one thing. I'm not too fond of that. Because he's going to ask. I think he said there's like a rumor he's wanting 10 years, $400 million. No one is going to pay him that.
Steinbrenner would.
He would. But especially with the failure, I'm going to call it the failure with A-Rod's contract. We paid him in spring training to be a coach. We paid him $27 million to be a coach. That's not a failed contract. I don't know what one is.
I mean, Bryce Harper is still like, you know, he's been in the league, what, 5 years?
Yeah, 4, 5, something.
Hasn't been long, right? And the first few years were disgustingly bad, like terrible, until he had his MVP year. But I mean, you can make a case that, you know, he's done more bad seasons than he has good. This is, you know, like his second really, you know, good season so far if he's able to maintain it. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of people already saying that they're just waiting for him. It's not a matter of when, if he goes to the Yankees. It's a matter of when.
Yeah, but that's the thing. What I say, I put Mike Trout over Bryce Harper. Mike Trout, I think, next couple years is going to get like $32 million. If Bryce Harper wants $40 million a year, Mike Trout should get a lot more. I don't think he's worth $40 million a year.
I mean, he's not worth $8 million more a year. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But a Trout isn't worth $8 million more a year than Harper, I don't think.
Yeah. But $40 million a year, that's just too much. And I don't think teams are going to start paying 10-year contracts anymore. Like, a lot of contracts now are using that opt-out clause. Like, I think Tanaka has one at the end of this year. And in the beginning of the year, I was a little nervous, like, oh, is he going to opt out? But the way he's throwing, if he continues it this year, I don't think he's going to opt out. Because, like, a player would opt out if their performance skyrocketed. If I'm correct, didn't Cespedes opt out of his contract last year?
Off the top of my head, I'm not really sure what his contract situation was.
I think he might have. But with opt-outs, like, I really like opt-outs because, let's say, if someone's having a great year, and they want to get more money.
As in if they outperform their contract.
Yes. A lot of the times they'll go back to their same team, though. Like with Cespedes, I do remember actually now, he did opt out. I remember teasing my friend. But that's because I think he had, like, how many home runs? Like 30-something last year?
He was phenomenal.
Yes.
He did everything last year.
One thing I'll give Cespedes is you cannot doubt that arm. He has one of the best arms in baseball.
He has the best arm in baseball.
See what Aaron Hicks does?
Hey, listen, he's on my fantasy team.
Yeah. One thing is I was actually at the game when he was on the Twins when he threw Vernon Wells out from dead center on the fly.
One of the greatest arms I've ever seen. Have you ever seen the throw Jose Guillen did from the Wolf?
Yeah.
It was a no hopper. He didn't take 5 steps into it. It was just a flick of the wrist.
And I remember seeing that video, and like I think the third baseman was just trying not to smile because of that throw. He was like, damn, to the runner. Sorry about that.
The craziest throw, I think if you guys haven't seen, just type in Jose Guillen throw. It is one. It's jaw dropping, and of course, there's the very historic Ichiro throw to third base.
Yep.
A lot of
the original announcer call of that, where he says Ichiro threw something out of Star Wars.
And there's definitely a lot of great plays. See, that's why I've always liked. I've always just been more into baseball than than other sports, because like I think baseball is the most difficult sport. Like, you know, the saying is you can fail 70% of the time. And like, if you can do that, if you can fail 70% of the time, then you're a very good player.
Yeah.
Which you guys, you know, not understanding that, you know, 7 out of 10 would be, you know, 30%. So if a player bats 300, then that's good. You know, that's what you want. You want a player to bat 300. And you see a person batting 300, that just means that they get a hit 3 out of every 7 opportunities. So it's a very difficult sport. But when you see players like I seen some good football players, some great basketball players, baseball players, but when you see a great baseball player, it just wows me more than any other sport.
Especially a homegrown player.
Those don't happen too often, though.
Yeah, but when they work out, they're great. And talking about batting average, I remember looking yesterday, and I remember your man Tony Gwynn one year batted 394.
Tony Gwynn, my boy, banging the 5.5 hole.
Yep.
Tony Gwynn is such an amazing hitter. May he rest in peace, man. He was somebody who was just built like the Michelin Man. Yeah. Right? Didn't have too much to offer physically. But when it came to, and it always looked like he had like one of the shortest bats too. His bat just always seemed small.
Yeah.
But his hand-eye coordination, his just knowledge of the game and understanding how to hit is a thing of art.
Yeah, I remember that 1998 World Series. He scared me. Like, every time he got up to the plate, I was like, oh, God, what is he going to do? Because you know he was going to get on base.
Yeah, he's slapping it somewhere.
Yeah. And I was like, just where's it going to go? Is it going to leave the yard? But he is still probably one of my favorite players of all time. Just because, you know, when he got up, he would use the whole field.
Speaking of slapping, do you feel, I mean, I think it's an absolute no-brainer. But do you feel Ichiro's a Hall of Famer?
Absolutely.
Some people say they talk about he doesn't have enough timing.
Well, those people are wrong. 3,000 hits in the majors.
I think if you combine his Japan doesn't he have like the most ever as a professional?
More than Pete Rose, yes.
As a professional, which obviously you can't, you know, bring that over to.
And this dude's still producing at 43.
Still, he still look quick on his feet. He still. You know, looks like, I mean, obviously not the young Ichiro, but still look, and there's not too many players to come over from you know, Japan or Asia and have great success. I mean, most of them you get a lot of hype, like a Hideo Nomo or something like that.
Like they usually have a couple good years, especially with Japanese pitchers. I remember one of my coaches used to tell me, like, he's like, I told you. They'll have a couple great years, but then they'll start to fall off. And that's why I believe that the hitters that come over are really good. I still love Hideki Matsui. But if you compare all of the players that have come over from Japan or Asia, Ichiro is by far the greatest. And I don't know what those people are doing if they say he's not a Hall of Famer. The stats speak for themselves. And for him to still be, as you said, quick on his feet, and still to produce and come in. He might not be a starter anymore, but he'll come in a game and he'll give you maybe a hit or two.
I personally think he still could be. I mean, I watch him. Yeah. When, you know, he comes in every now and then for Florida, and you know, I think he would have to get the Michael Brantley treatment. Like, Brantley plays 4 games a week, you know, because of his consistent injuries. They, you know, give him you know, time off because he's Mr. Glass. But I think if you play him, you know, just give him subtle days off, I still think he could produce, man.
I still think, yes, if you put Ichiro, I still think, yeah, he's lost a step, but still, I think he can still be a 1 or 2 hitter. Like, and saying, I do, have you played MLB The Show yet?
I have not, man. I have not.
It's a lot better this year. I actually been playing with Mikey, and don't listen to him, but he's not good. I've been giving him them whoopings. He did beat me once.
Is this like just exhibitions or just
sometimes do Diamond Dynasty. But
Diamond Dynasty? Okay, yeah.
Exhibitions, but I've been putting a whooping on him. But they're respecting Ichiro. He's still got like 82, 84 speed. They're still respecting him, and that's why, for people to not say that this man is not a Hall of Famer, just blows my mind.
Yeah, there's so many things that just isn't right. Like Edgar Martinez needs to be a Hall of Famer. I don't give a damn what anybody says. Even though it's a designated hitter, and they don't count that really as a position. He's the greatest DH ever in the history of the game.
Yeah.
That man needs to be a Hall of Famer.
Absolutely. And the thing is, I don't care what anyone says. Who the hell was that one person that voted that Griffey should not be in the Hall of Fame?
Somebody voted against him?
Yeah, he almost was unanimous. He was like 99.4%. There was one man, I believe, who did not vote Griffey.
Griffey has what I would like to think the sweetest swing in the history of the game.
It is beautiful. Like, also, just lefty swings are just a lot more beautiful than righty swings.
And he was just a rare 5-tool player back then. Yeah. I mean, you want to talk about hitting with power, speed, fielding, throwing. That young man could do everything. And he was one of the few only ever to be in a movie where the outcome is where they win.
Yeah.
They beat the Twins in the movies.
Little Big League.
Little Big League.
I remember that.
They win the game. How often do you see movies end in tragedy?
Yeah.
That's when you know Griffey's the G.
Yeah. He robbed that home run.
He did.
Also, Randy Johnson, that dude's still.
Oh my God. The GOAT.
I don't remember. I vaguely remember when he came to the Yankees, but his time when he was on the Mariners and the Diamondbacks was and actually one thing that I really liked was his Hall of Fame speech when he mentioned, like, he was talking after his no-hitter. He was talking to his dad, and he said, "Dad," he's like, "Yeah, you weren't perfect." He's like, "Yeah, no, I walked 8." But then when he said, "But a couple years later, he was perfect." I've always liked that.
I'm thinking of giving my son. I think I'm going to give my son the Kimbrough treatment to make him throw high velocity. Did you hear the story of how he supposedly got his velocity?
No.
Okay, so I don't know. I think his leg was in a cast or something. I don't know exactly if he had like a broken leg or whatever the case may be. He had something wrong with his legs, so he would just throw from basically kneeling down, and he was able to pick up so much upper body strength and so much force from being able to throw that way continuously. I don't know how long he was able to do that, but he said he noticed, like, as a kid, he was doing that for quite some time, and he just picked up like some great baseball strength from his upper body by not using his legs. And then once he was able to, then forget about it. You know, he's able to push off the mound now and add extra torque, and he was able to go on ahead and throw at amazing velocities. And I think I'm gonna give that a try with my son, man. Just have him pitching off his knees.
That's what I did. As I said, I still pitch, but one thing I always did is that I always learned that everyone says, don't throw from your arm. That's what a lot of kids do these days. They want to throw high, so they're going to torque their arm. But the thing is, to throw hard, you need to use your whole body. And you see Chapman when he's throwing. That dude's using his leg. He's stepping almost to the end, right to when the mound is flat. And that's what I always like to see. Like, someone just not just using their arm. You got to use your whole body.
Do you see what Kimbrough was doing this year?
No. I don't look at the Red Sox.
Yeah, figure. Of course, the Yankee fan. Well, that man has a strikeout rate. I think it's like almost 17%, bro. It's like over 2 strikeouts an inning.
Yeah. Well, also, if we're talking about strikeouts, not trying to be biased here, what do you think about my man Betances?
Oh, if
I would say,
if he was a closer, I think he would easily be top 5.
I would have to agree. But the thing
Easily.
is, the game, this dude hit 102. That's Chapman range. This dude hit 102.
I mean, I don't even think I could name 5 closers better if he was a closer. I mean, you could put Chapman up there. Kimbrel, Britton is amazing.
Jansen.
I think I would probably put. Yeah. Kenley is phenomenal. I think Bautista is right after those guys.
Yeah.
I don't think I can name another guy that I would want over. I think Andrew Miller could be a phenomenal closer too. And you guys had all of them. You guys at one point you guys did it was very good too, man. You guys got rid of Beltran and got rid of Andrew Miller and even Chapman. Came back and re-signed Chapman, but I think that was a very, very good situation you guys got out of. You guys pretty much noticed.
I think they just threw away. I think Alzheimer's like I don't care. Just throw away all the old guys.
It was crazy that you guys actually started winning.
Yeah.
At one point, you was like, geez, if they had all those players, they might have been able to make a run.
Yeah, we almost did. But I've always wanted to ask someone this. Out of every first baseman in the league, or just of all time, who do you think is the best defensive first baseman?
Defensive first baseman.
I got a man that I could say because I watched him for a long time.
Defensive. I mean,
or just all around. If we're going defensive, though, I gotta give it to my man Teixeira.
I mean, if you're saying all around, then I think we'll both say that Cabrera is better than Teixeira.
Oh yeah, all around Melton.
Just because his bat alone will dwarf.
Oh yeah.
Terribly over
still scares me.
Teixeira, but I knew he was special when I seen him in Florida. I knew it when he was young. When he was young, I seen it and I knew it.
Like imagine if the Marlins had Miggy right now. Imagine if they had him.
I mean, they had when I seen him, Hanley, Dontrell, like that.
Dontrell Willis. Oh, Dontrell Willis. I remember him.
He had a few years, man. He was unhittable.
I'm at MLB The Show 06. Anytime I play franchise, I'm like, give me Dontrell Willis.
You know what's crazy? Like now, I think last few years, I just tried a random franchise. You know what team I took? Let's see if you know. What team do you think I picked?
The Marlins.
The Reds. Give me Billy Hamilton, man.
True, you man, Billy.
I need Billy Legs. Billy Legs he reminds me of a young Jose Reyes. Just off of pure speed and excitement. Like I remember Reyes coming up, and I remember seeing him play. And I remember I told my manager then was Luis Ortiz. I remember telling him that Jose Reyes is the most exciting player in baseball. He would think I was crazy. Like 4 years later, I remember him agreeing with like, you know what, you was right. Like when they just everything is so a random ground ball is almost a base hit.
Yeah.
And it's just so much fun to see. Like when he gets on base, it's so much fun to see. And
like, he could just scream out, "I'm taking second." Even if you pitch out, I think he's stolen on a pitch out.
I don't think no matter what team you add him on, I don't see like imagine like get rid of Ellsbury and add Billy Hamilton.
I would actually like here's the thing. I don't like Ellsbury's contract, but what I do like is Aaron Hicks has just stepped in.
He is. He needs to be more regular. I'm tired of this 2 days off a week nonsense.
To be honest, Aaron Hicks right now up here is one of my favorite players. But I was just looking, and on MLB today they had a would you rather question. Would you rather have Aaron Judge's power or Billy Hamilton's speed?
Ooh, I mean,
Can you just give me both?
Ah, man. Oh, my God. That would be unstoppable, bro. You imagine Aaron Judge? I mean, you imagine the Judge with that speed?
Give me both.
I mean, if I had to choose one or the other, ooh, I mean, you would obviously love the power, right? You know, chicks dig the long ball.
And that's exactly what a guy in a clipboard actually put up on the show.
But speed is like, you know, they say that speed never goes into a slump.
True. Like, you remember Gerard Dyson when the Royals made that run.
You get somebody on top, they can shake everything up.
Yeah. Speed kills.
Like I watch you know, a lot of baseball, and I have the
that MLB.TV premium.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt.
How it's done.
Without a doubt, that is the greatest thing they've ever invented. And I could watch baseball for free off the websites. I could watch any sport for free, but I need it to be in HD. I don't play when it comes to baseball. I can't watch 480p even if it's free. No, I'll pay $130 a year to watch every game in HD. And what it is I like to do is, you know, I have on top my fantasy cast. So all my players, it lets me know if Billy Hamilton is in the hole. It lets me know if Severino's pitching, or, you know, it just lets me know everything. And when he gets on base, Billy Hamilton, I like to go to the other team's broadcast. And they would just sit there and say, oh, this is not good. This is a whole lot of, like, these are the type of situations you want to avoid. At all costs, you need to keep this man off of the base. Now, when you have a lot of power like Judge, I mean, it can impact the game as well, because whoever's in front of him is just going to benefit. You have to approach batters differently. You don't want to face him with anybody on, because any one mistake, it can just change the game. Where you make a mistake to Hamilton, it's a double. You know, it's not the same situation. But again, there's no you know, speed doesn't go into a slump. It's more psychological with Billy Hamilton, where I seen him just pitchers constantly throwing over. Now they're trying to, you know, now they have to avoid the stretch, and they have to go ahead and start quickening their windups, because they're forced to try and get rid of the ball quickly. Like, it's so psychological when he gets on base. I mean, give me the speed. I take the speed all day.
You know what? I love Judge's power, but as you were saying before, like, speed does not go into a slump.
It's true.
And just also with that threat of speed, sometimes, and not a lot, but sometimes you can get that pitcher to balk. If he's focused enough on you, you know once he's on base, you know that the pitcher's not thinking about the batter. He's thinking about Billy Hamilton.
Oh, all the time. All the time you would watch and you would see, I've heard broadcasters say, like, okay, you know, even if it's 2 outs, you know, the pitcher has to focus on the batter. You know, let him steal second, let him steal third. You know, he's focusing too much on Billy. And then I think it has a lot to do with Votto doing very good this year, because Billy is actually getting on base, you know, more consistently than we're used to. And he's, you know, doing very well. I've seen so many times where Billy will steal second, steal third, and the routine pop-up. Now Votto has an RBI. Or they're paying so much attention to him where it's just a mistake over the middle, and Votto crushes it. Like, God, oh man, Billy, like, makes me want to be a Reds fan. He's that amazing.
That speed. And I was also thinking, like, didn't he just become the fastest player to reach, like, 200 steals?
He's just most likely. I don't know if he or when he eclipsed that, but I mean, that sounds about right. He is just, again, if he can bat 300, I believe he would be the best player in baseball.
And also, the funny thing is you saying switching my broadcasts. I just always like saying it. Let's say Billy Hamilton hits a home run, you switch to the other team's broadcast, you can just know that the announcer's like, the hell did he just do?
I do that often. I do that often.
Just hit it out.
Got it. I seen so many home runs like my. Do you do fantasy baseball?
Yeah.
What's your team looking like? Talk to me.
Well, I took a little bit of a break this year. I got into it mid-season, but it's looking decent. I always like to get, like, all-around hitters. I always get, like, a couple people that I know will give me, like, a stolen base or two a day. I got Billy Hamilton.
That is an amazing pickup. I like to hear that.
With me, I like a youngish team with maybe a couple veterans. Because I know with the young team, they're going to play a lot more games than, let's say, a Matt Holliday, who's, like, getting up there in age.
This is true.
I'll get a couple veterans, but I like to have a young team. Because I know that they'll go out there, give me maybe 152 games. That's
So
what I
who you got? Talk to me. Who's your catcher, first baseman? Talk to me.
Well, catching, I had to. I picked up my man Gary.
Okay.
First base, I got Freddie Freeman, but he's hurt now.
Oh, he was MVP ballot before he got hurt.
Shortstop, I had to go my man Didi Gregorius, just because I know that even though he's a lefty, he can still hit lefties, which is what I love about him. No matter, like, he's not a player that, like, let's say...
Like, Puig does not play against lefties.
No.
He is benched. I have him on my team. If a lefty is starting, he is on the bench.
Yeah, but Puig's now actually looking in vintage form, like the form he did when he came up as a rookie.
Yeah, maybe sending him down last year has something to do with that.
Yeah. Third base, I actually got really lucky. I had Donaldson. I have Donaldson.
Jesus.
But the outfield is where I struggle a little bit. I got Aaron Hicks. I love Aaron Hicks. Right field, I have, that's not a DH. I got Carlos Beltran. And I also got Springer. George Springer. Who I really like.
And what's that pitching looking like?
Pitching, I got a good rotation. I got Luis Severino, got Dallas Keuchel. Sadly, I didn't get Kershaw. I wish I did. Steven Strasburg. And then it takes a decent hit. I got Jordan Montgomery, the rookie for the Yankees. And then, what's his name? Walker. I think Taiwan Walker.
All right, I have some. I'm actually in first place. This is a keeper league that I've been in for like the last 5 years. We're actually allowed to have 3 keepers, where we can start the season with off.
You keep your man Billy, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and well, no, there's no way. I mean, I would love to, but I can't. Like last year, I made a big trade, and I traded for Votto when he was doing terrible last year. I think when the guy offered him to me, he was batting like 211. And thankfully, he turned it around. And that year, I had first pick in the draft. My team has been terrible for like the last 3 years because I joined late, and my keepers were terrible. And I drafted Miguel Cabrera with the second overall pick last year. Because my keepers going into the year were, I think it was DeGrom, Kluber, and Freddie Freeman, I think. Wasn't all that great, but from last year I kept Miguel Cabrera, Joey Votto, and D. Gordon.
Oh yeah.
I had Blackman last year, but I should have kept him. But I figure second baseman is more valuable than outfield. And I thought D. Gordon would do better than what he's doing this year. But so at catcher I have Real Muto. First base I have Votto. Second base Gordon. Third base is my man Jake Lambchops, who has been destroying things this year.
Yeah.
And I drafted him 14th round, and he is the number 2 third baseman all year. He's been killing. I made a big trade this year for Trey Turner, so he's my shortstop.
Yeah, but he hasn't. I don't think he's performing as well.
No, he's not. He's definitely not doing
what he did last year.
What he's hyped up to be yet. But I'm hoping he's very young though, very young.
Yeah, he's
still
very young. He's still very young.
Yeah.
Just so you know, I think looking at some games tonight, wasn't Dylan G a Met?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going up against your man DeGrom.
DeGrom he'll pitch 7 innings, 12 strikeouts, 1 earned run, and we'll lose. It's disgusting.
It's the Rangers.
It's disgusting.
But,
yeah, so we got Turner at shortstop. My outfield is Billy Hamilton, Aaron Hicks. I have Altier from Philly, And my utility is Miguel Cabrera. My bench is Eduardo Nunez, Yasiel Puig, Dexter Fowler, Matt Holliday, and Duda. So I keep Matt Holliday because, you know, he's more consistent because Aaron Hicks has days off every now and then.
Yeah.
Pitching is pretty good, man. I got two of your favorite guys. I got Eduardo Rodriguez and Drew Pomeranz.
Oh God, no.
What? Oh God, they've been phenomenal. And I got Kimbrel too, man. Talk to me. Three guys from the Red Sox. Actually, I always draft closers, quick. Like in the third round of the draft, I'm already drafting closers. It's been a strategy I've always used since I've played Yahoo Fantasy Baseball, and it's been phenomenal. Like I have Kimbrel, I have Chapman, who's on a DL, unfortunately, but drafted Kimbrel, Chapman, and Jensen, and
wow, you have all three.
All three. Closing is so important to me, man, because
you got two good ones. Like Kimbrel's not good.
I'm gonna need you to relax. Kimbrel's the #1 relief pitcher in all of baseball this year.
Their career's over. But there is one thing. One thing that I was just thinking about this year is, yeah, Chapman hurt his shoulder. But let's say that was bothering him, and that's why his velocity wasn't there. You don't know. This man could come back and break his own record. That's what I like.
He was still. I mean, what's crazy is that his velocity was off, and he was throwing 99, popping 100 every 101. Yeah, it just wasn't consistently. But it would still, you know, like when your changeup is 96 miles an hour.
No, his changeup's not 96.
No, but I'm saying they consider that a changeup though. Because, you know, 96, I mean, it's not 96, but I mean, yeah, the wrong phrase. But I'm saying when you throw 96, and it's like a changeup.
Yeah.
Because it's 5 miles an hour slower than your, it's crazy.
That's what I like. Like, one thing I always love is you have a closer like Chapman or someone that just throws Mariano Rivera, best closer of all time.
Gagne's better. I say Gagne's better. Somebody had to say it.
I say it's Mo. Like
Gagne, he wasn't Cy Young.
Okay.
Really? Okay, a closer that wins a Cy Young award.
Still, it's my man Mo. One thing is closers, like if you have a closer that you know what pitch is coming. For example, let's say Chapman. You know the fastball is coming. That's what makes him even better. Even though you know it's coming, you still can't hit it. Or like with Mo, you know that cutter's coming. You still can't hit it. That's like the intimidation factor that I love about closers that are dominant. You know what pitches they throw. You know what's coming, and you still can't hit it.
You do know that Gagne won a Cy Young, though, right?
Yeah, I do.
He was crowned the best pitcher of all of baseball as a closer.
I actually did not know that.
He won. I actually had to look it up because I wasn't sure of the exact year. But I believe it was the 2000. Let me see. I just looked it up, too. I knew he won the Cy Young, but I wasn't sure. 2003. The National League Cy Young Award winner. That man was absolutely disgusting.
That ERA, though, that's a nasty ERA.
When he was there.
1.2, only 11 earned runs in 82 innings pitched with 137 strikeouts.
That man was disgusting, man.
And also, those 3 years, 2002, 3, and 4, in 2002, he was 4th in Cy Young voting. And when he won Cy Young, he was actually 6th in MVP voting.
that's unheard of. Absolutely unheard of. So, Brandon, I appreciate your time, my man. Definitely just wanted to talk some baseball with somebody, so I appreciate you, looking out and joining us today. Any final words for the audience one time?
Yeah, go Yankees. They're going to win the World Series.
Okay, I'm going to need you. Okay, this conversation's over with. Appreciate you guys for listening, man. Brandon, thank you for your time. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.